The Secret Life of Plants. A fascinating account of the physical, emotional, and spiritual relationship between plants and man by Peter Tompkins and Christopher Bird.
And you haven't heard nothing yet. Wait till you hear about the guy who trained his plant to open his garage door.
Trained a plant to open his garage door. You guys are going to love this. This is such a cool book. And this is, I think that every vegan should read this book.
Everybody should read it.
Everybody should read this book. But every vegan should read this book because plants they're alive. I mean, it's incredible. This book is really incredible. So the book is called The Secret Life of Plants. It explores plants' response to human care and nurturing, their abilities to communicate with man, plants' surprising reaction to music, plants' lie detecting ability, their creative powers. Tompkins and Bird wrote this classic book that affirms the depths of humanity's relationship with nature and adds special urgency to the cause of protecting the environment that nourishes us. Such a cool book. If you haven't had a chance to read it, and if you've had a chance to read it, talk on the live stream, talk back to you. We got a couple other social media and cameras going. But when did you first get your copy of The Secret Life of Plants?
I think it was in the early 1980s, I think. It was sometime in the 1980s. And I have always been kind of an edgy scientist anyway, I guess. That's why I come up with the weird and wonderful supplement formulas that I've done over the years, because I push my own envelope, and all I have to do is think about, well, that's not possible, and then in a year it's done, because it is possible. And this book really opened my eyes. I had no problem with it, and when it came out, so many people called it fantasy, unrealistic, but the book documents scientific case studies. This is not just somebody's opinion. They use the active part of a lie detector.
Yeah.
And when they hooked those electrodes up to these plants and did various things to them and around them, physically, mentally, the plants reacted. And while we still don't know exactly what those reactions mean, the fact that they react to human interaction is incredible. It's just incredible.
Yeah.
And I found that to be just overwhelming.
I mean, it's kind of like the relationship that humans have with dogs. It's so easily seen. And the benefits are so clear. For example, the simple ones like the oxytocin when you pet the dog. But no one ever thinks of that with plants.
Yeah, you can go out and pet your plants. Believe me, they respond.
Yeah.
We know they do.
And I think The Secret Life of Plants is kind of one of those hidden gems for everyone to read.
Oh, yeah. And keep in mind, everybody, that all life on this planet starts with plants.
Yeah.
Completely. Even if you're a vegan. And even if you're not.
Yeah.
So you like a good steak. Well, what was the cattle raised on?
Yeah.
And so, grains and plants are the foundation of all living things. And we should get to know them.
Well, let's get to the part of the story about the guy teaching a plant how to open a garage door.
I know, that seems so silly, but what he did, and it took a long time, it took months and months of developing a relationship with this philodendron. But he would get within, he'd go out in his car, and he'd get within maybe 100 feet of his house, and he would picture the plant and himself in the car approaching. And when he got within about 50 feet of the garage, the door opened. And it took him months and months to build this relationship. But we often think that, well, we can train animals to do these various things.
Yeah.
Right? You can train your dog, you can train your cat. But, before this, nobody thought you could train a plant. But you can. Because once the plant gets familiar with your brainwaves and you send this plant this energy, it picks it up on a machine very similar to a lie detector, and when it gets strong enough as you get closer, it sends a signal to the garage door opener, and just like pushing the button, and open it comes. But that isn't the only thing. I mean, that was probably the piece de resistance, but there's so many other experiments accounted for in that book about how your attitude can affect plants. If you're hostile to them for prolonged periods of time, they'll weaken and die. If you care for them when you water them and fertilize them and talk to them, and when I say talk to them, I'm not meaning in our language. Plants have their own language.
Yeah.
You talk to them mentally, and they respond. We know they respond because of the lie detector ability. For example, if you're pruning a plant and you're taking the dead leaves off, plant likes that.
Yeah.
But if you approach a plant with hostility and a machete or a knife and start hacking at it, it gives you that lie detector needle goes absolutely mad.
Wow.
Because the plant is detecting danger.
So you're kind of leading to the point about plants protecting themselves by developing thorns, thick bark, bitter taste, unpleasant secretions. Is that kind of proof of their intelligence?
That is the tip of the iceberg of their intelligence, but yes. I don't know if any of you have ever had a vine like growing on a fence, but if you move the vine and you move the fence, the plant moves. The plant sends out feelers to attach itself to the fence, to the wall.
Yeah.
And if you move that and change that environment, the plant rapidly changes its direction.
Yeah.
It knows exactly how to survive. And it knows how to do what its job intended depending on the species of plant.
Yeah. And so I think we're probably going to do another video soon about some specific studies from the secret life of plants. So if you're new here, please like, subscribe, comment. We're going to talk about some studies from the secret life of plants along with we're going to light the light bulb with the minerals, which are plant-based minerals.
That's right.
Which I think will be very interesting. And so learning to communicate with plants, that's not just watering them and nurturing them. That's also communicating with them.
That's right. Caring for them, approaching them with love instead of hostility. And it makes a world of difference. We now know that this is the case. And funny enough, this whole book and this whole research kind of went to sleep for a few decades. And people either thought it was interesting or people thought it was nonsense.
Yeah.
But now you can go on various social medias and YouTube and so forth, and you can start seeing a resurgence of people talking about and interested in what plants can do.
Yeah. That's just fascinating. So if you guys want to know about it, anybody new here that just showed up, we're discussing the book called The Secret Life of Plants from Peter Tompkins and Christopher Bird. We definitely suggest you get it. It's an amazing book. We don't know them or anything, but we just think it's a really cool book.
I don't know anything about them other than I read the book.
Yeah.
But I did a quick check. That book is still in print. It is. You don't have to look in used bookstores. That book has been in print probably for 40 or more years.
It's still on Amazon, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can go on and order it either in hardback or paperback.